This is Sir Espanto, your teacher, and TBE10, SMAL, shielded with an arc welding. Our topic is performing welding carbon mild steel plates in horizontal position. We have objectives as we go to our study. First is classify the types of carbon steel, draw and label the weld profiles, and practice the value of welding application. Okay? So after the preliminary activities, we have the housekeeping, the prayer and checking of attendance. Let's go to the reviewing of our previous lessons. Part of our previous lessons about the symbol of the welding and part of the welding symbol. As you can see, we have the reference line, number 1. Number 2 is the arrow. Number 3 is the basic welding symbol and a tail. So we have a question to consider here. How would you do a fillet weld when it cannot be done by flat position welding? This kind of welding cannot be done in flat. So how would you do if you're forced to weld beside flat welding? Okay, before we proceed, let's have a pretest. If something you have learned for, you have here the name of the fillet weld profiles. Going to name according to the arrows where the letter is, the corresponding arrows. So you're going to name. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Okay, are you ready now to answer? Okay, so letter E is the leg, letter B is the two, letter C is face, and D truth, and letter A is the roof. We have few questions to consider as we proceed. Number 1 here is you have here, what is ferrous metal? What is the role of carbon in steel? And how much carbon the metal needs in order to be welded? How would you weld if it cannot be done by flat welding? And what is horizontal position and its symbol? And what are the basic fillet weld? Okay, so ready to dive in? So as we go along, we will answer all of those questions in our discussion. Okay, let's go. So we have here a question, what is carbon? Carbon is one of the elements in steel. So carbon steel. Steel is a combination of 2 or more metals combining together. So however, carbon steel is a ferrous metal and is the most common metal used in fabrication and manufacturing. So it can be classified into 3 types. Okay. So the first one is the low, medium, and high carbon steel. The low carbon contains 0.1 to 0.25 carbon, while the medium carbon steel contains 0.26 to 0.5, and the high carbon steel contains 0.5 to 1.03 carbon. So that's carbon steel. Maybe you will ask, what is the purpose of carbon in the steel? So the addition of carbon increases the tensile strength of an iron. So what is tensile strength? Tensile strength is the hardness of the material or of the steel. So it will be measured by PSI. PSI means pound per square inch. So it's the pressure that the materials could resist. So carbon equivalent should be calculated for the exact composition. So with the carbon equivalent is 40% or lower, the material is already weldable. So below 40%, you can already weld the carbon steel. Okay, let's move on the fillet weld profile. So what is a fillet weld? The fillet weld is the most common weld used in industry. So you have there on the right section the fillet weld and its corresponding names and profiles in it. So fillet weld is triangular in its cross-sectional shape and indicated by a triangle placed in the reference line of the welding symbol. So as you have there, so that's triangle there where the arrow of the basic weld is where what we call the fillet weld. So it may require a little or no edge preparation as far as fillet weld is concerned. So there is no edge preparation. Fillet weld also is the joint of two surfaces at approximately at the right angle to form at least three common joints. So we have here the first common joint is a lap joint, the T-joint, or the corner joint. So we have here the three common joint formed by fillet joint. We have the lap joint, you have the T-joint, inverted letter T, and you have the corner joint. So notice there is no edge preparation in this fillet welds. So we have here the fillet weld profiles, parts of the fillet weld. You have the weld root, the weld face, the weld tube, the fillet weld leg, and fillet weld through. So notice on the picture on the right side, put those names, these corresponding arrows. Okay, so the definition of those welding profiles are the following. Number one, we have the weld face. The weld face is the exposed surface of a weld banded by the weld toes of the side on which welding was done, and it may be concave or convex. So the weld face is on the center, and both sides we call this the weld toes. So weld 2 is the intersection of the base metal and the weld face. It is the point at which weld meets the base metal. The base metal is the one on the ground, the base, the horizontal one, is what we call the base metal. So the next one is the joint root, the point of joint to be welded where members are closest to each other. And we have the fillet weld leg, the distance from the joint root to the weld tube. And the last one is the actual root, the shortest distance from the face. So this is the basic parts of the fillet weld profiles. To have a closer look of the fillet weld profiles, you have here words that being underlined by red line. Number one here is the actual root, the weld face, the weld 2. Notice the weld 2 is both sides of the weld face. So the joint root, the weld roots, and the vertical root. So you have also the weld leg right there. So you need to be familiarized the fillet weld profiles. Okay, let's move on to the horizontal position of welding. So why horizontal position or 2F? Why we need to use this position in welding beside flat position? Well, the explanation is quite practical and simple. Some welding tasks are not possible in the flat position or 1F because there are some fixed or heavy structures that cannot be moved or immovable. So you are forced to perform the horizontal position. So that's why we need to be aware this kind of position in welding. So what is horizontal position? So horizontal position or 2F refers to the welding position wherein the joint is on a vertical plane and the line of weld runs straight with the horizon. So it's just like in your arms, so it's the horizontal position. Okay. So to illustrate the horizontal position or 2F in welding, we have the figure below. So the side here, so you can see there the electrode position, the materials that being welded, the degrees is slanted in direction 95 to 100 degrees point to the material that being welded. So that's what we call horizontal.
Run on and run off tabs are about inch and a quarter on each side. Run on and run off tabs are about inch and a quarter on each side. So we're ready to go. Run on and run off tabs are about inch inch and a quarter on each side. So we're ready to go. I'm going to start on the run-on tab.
Make sure to
Take note that horizontal position is not easy. Horizontal position is a little more difficult to master than flat position. Why? Ask me why. Yeah, why? Because this is due to the tendency of the molten metal to flow the lower side of the joint. Why is that? Why is that? That the molten metal, the liquid metal, will flow lower or will drop? Well, because of a natural phenomenon that we call, that's right, gravity. So the gravity will pull the molten metal. So the heat from the filler rises to the upper side of the joint. So what's the remedy for this? So we need to use fast freeze electrode, and we need to do a closer arc length in order to achieve a good performance in horizontal position. Okay. Again, where can we use this horizontal position, or how to apply this horizontal welding position? So here you can find the horizontal welding position in railings. So we know that railings is fixed. You can find that in terminals, in uh, ships, uh, as we travel in some buildings, in the mall, there are some railings. Even in comfort rooms, there are railings that need to be joined together, and they're going to use, sometimes they cannot avoid using the horizontal welding position. Other also are the bridges. So they're going also to use the horizontal position, because you cannot just move the bridge and weld it in a flat position, or any fixed structure that cannot be moved in order to perform the welding job. So we need that horizontal welding position for that matter. Okay, there you go. I hope you learned something with our horizontal welding position, the welded profiles, and the carbon steel. So what we're going to do here, we have to do some evaluation, and we have the right side, the fillet weld profiles. You're going to name the letters. So you have the letter E, B, C, D, and E. So what are the names of that uh, particular area in fillet weld profiles? Another thing also is you're going to match the carbon types. You have the types and the carbon content. We're going to match the carbon content according to its type. So you have the low carbon, the medium, and the high carbon steel. So you're going to match what are the contents suited for its type of carbon. Okay, do that. Okay, there you are. So when we have demonstration activities in the practicum, we're going to do the horizontal welding position and apply those carbon steel and the fillet weld profiles on our welding job. So please do not forget, bring your PPEs and some materials in our practical. So I hope you learned something with our carbon steel welding in horizontal position, and don't forget to apply the 5S, the Sairi, Saitun, Saisu, Shikitsu, and Setsuki. So remember, 5S, so the meaning of this, Sairi means items for keeps and items for waste basket. Second is the Saitun, going to arrange in order for easy use. The third one is Saizu, general cleaning or clean the workplace thoroughly. The fourth one is Kidzu, the high standard of housekeeping that you're going to maintain. And then you have the Setsuki, the training and disciplining people to follow the 5S or self discipline. Don't forget that. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you learned something, and thank you very much for participation. And remember, we have here a skilled person will serve among kings in Proverbs 22 verse 29. God bless and see you next time. Bye bye.